Princess Charlotte just set the royal scene on fire with a single elegant bow. What secrets lie behind Charlotte's sudden emotional gesture? And why? Let us take you deep inside this royal drama as we uncover the shocking truth. It is a massive revelation that could rewrite the future of the British crown. Heavy royal titles have a way of shaping young lives long before these children and few moments reminded the world of this cold truth more than when young Princess, though still just a child, pulled off something totally unexpected. As it was not some staged act, nor was she coached. The gesture felt what people usually laughed off as the cheeky, playful attitude of an ordinary little girl, a silent, deep awareness of a massive destiny she did not choose but was born. It is about the tricky balance of royal law, ancient legacy, and the secret behind every piece of her title, each name picked out for her, and how she shows up in public. When she was born on May 2nd, 2015, the entire world celebrated right outside the Lindo wing of St. Mary's Hospital, massive crowds gathered, church bells. Her official royal style was declared as Her Royal Highness Princess Charlotte. But what appeared to be her simple birthright was actually a highly calculated gift of, according to strict rules written in 1917 by King George V, only that meant Charlotte, being a great-grandchild of Queen Elizabeth II, did not automatically qualify, but fate or perhaps real foresight intervened. Back in 2012, Queen Elizabeth issued a new decree ensuring that every child, without that key decree, Charlotte would have grown up far outside the inner circle of working. Instead, she stepped into the world as a princess from the moment she was born. Her very name was packed with historical meaning, carefully woven together, but while also serving as the feminine version of Charles, a nod to her grandfather. Elizabeth was a clear nod to her legendary great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. From the very second her name was announced, she served as a living bridge between past and what most people forget is that a royal title is never just some fancy decorative label. For Charlotte, it decides her exact place at ceremonies. How she is treated at school, the intense level of media spotlight she gets. And to outsiders this might just look like a charming tradition, but inside the palace wall, royal experts have spent years wondering what major title she might eventually inherit. Some have whispered about her potentially becoming the next Duchess of Edinburgh. This historic title was once held by Prince Philip, who gave it immense power, and after Philip passed away in 2021, the title went temporarily to Prince Edward. Instead, when his time is up, the title goes right back to the crown, and the king will choose. Could young Charlotte, the king's granddaughter, and a central pillar of the modern royal family, this legendary title is absolutely no minor inheritance. Since its creation in 1726, it has been handed out, rarely reserved only for Prince Frederick, Prince George, and later Philip. Each shaped its history in very different. Yet Prince Philip was the one who changed it from a simple courtesy title into a legacy. By launching the famous Duke of Edinburgh Award, he inspired millions of young people, challenging them to push past their limits, accept hard responsibility. Another possibility, though highly controversial, is the title of the Duchess of York. Historically, that title has always gone to the second son of the sovereign. But, with Prince Andrew currently holding it amidst non-stop personal scandal, if that title is quietly retired, Princess Charlotte might instead be granted After all, royal titles are just as much about optics as they are about tradition, and whether she eventually gets Edinburgh York or some royal title yet unimagined, these grand titles for royals like Charlotte are never random gifts. Naturally, wild speculation is half the fun when it comes to the royal family. Would Charlotte embrace such a weighty role with the same effortless grace as her Will she step into the spotlight reluctantly, or will she quietly thrive under these heavy... Even now, she has shown flashes of cool composure that surprise seasoned royal watchers. That single elegant bow of her head, small as it was, reminded everyone that she is being carefully prepared for a lifetime of duty and symbolism. George, as heir to the throne, carries the heavy burden of future kingship. Louis, as the youngest, might live with less public scrutiny, but he has fewer options for... Charlotte occupies a fascinating middle ground, not destined to rule the country. In many ways, she mirrors the active path her great-aunt, Princess Anne, carved, respected and deeply tied to the daily working fabric of the entire monarchy. Still, the royal family thrives on deep mystery and absolutely nothing is set. These designations are tools of diplomacy, steady continuity, and sometimes quiet. They carry heavy expectations that far outlive the actual royals. Was that incredibly respectful bow a sign of her instinctive royal understanding? Or was she simply a child mimicking the behavior of adults around her? Does her incredibly calm presence in public hint at an active royal strategy? These are the questions that fascinate both royal critics and devoted admirers. And while absolutely no one knows the answers yet, that exact uncertainty is what keeps the... One thing is certain, Charlotte's royal titles, both now and in the future, are not just... They represent legacy continuity and the royal family's ability to project real meaning. Whether she one day becomes the Duchess of Edinburgh, is granted a brand new dukedom, for now she remains a normal child, playful-spirited and occasionally a little mischievous. But every now and then, during moments when the sheer weight of her lineage slips through, the world is reminded that she carries a grand destiny, not entirely her own. And when that royal destiny calls her name, her title, and her family history, but what does Princess Charlotte's emerging role reveal about the actual future of the Princess Charlotte and the modern Windsor? Let's look at Princess Charlotte's highly unique... She may still be a young child, yet her presence reaches into history, duty, and a shift. The Windsor name was officially born in 1917 when King George V replaced that wartime choice, gave the modern British monarchy a symbol of absolute steadiness. Charlotte sits inside a lineage that has weathered war-intense scandal and dramatic. Through her father, Prince William, she links directly to a future the nation watches close. She carries a living memory of warmth and transformation that forever altered how... Meanwhile, her mother Catherine brings a steady calm and a normal upbringing that makes those traits are highly visible in Charlotte's quiet confidence whenever the cameras peek. Letters patent from 1917 and later decisions determine who gets. Debates about who should carry official royal status flare up constantly. Since King Charles became monarch in September 2022, talk of a slimmer, but rules tell only a small part of the story. Instead, it is the small, unguarded moments walking beside her parents. Actions speak louder than formal speeches. The public craves real honesty over... She bridges a historic royal institution with a young audience that values... Modern royal tensions complicate this picture. The palace has faced tough questions about fairness, race, and intense media intrusion. For young Charlotte, most of this remains an adult conversation. She absorbs lessons by watching, copying, and testing her boundaries just like any child. Her parents' calm, patient, and firm parenting style sets a warm tone that keeps her... What happens when innocent childhood play finally gives way to formal royal duty? Some expect a streamlined, stripped-back monarchy focused only on core state work. Others want a visible family that models true service and genuine compassion. Princess Charlotte's path will depend on historic choices made by her grandfather and father. There is a quieter power at work here too. Royal children have long symbolized historical continuity while their private lives are... Charlotte's steady presence combined with the warmth people feel from her family creates a genuine smile or a spontaneous laugh can instantly shift the public mood from scare. In that sense, she modernizes the House of Windsor not by breaking royal rules, but by... Will the constant pressure to appear perfectly composed at grand state occasions? Will lineage narrow her choices, or will Charlotte and her siblings redefine what... These are open questions, and speculation is fair so long as we call it exactly that. For now, Charlotte treads a fine line between private life and public meaning. It is about how a royal family bound to ancient decisions adapts without... Whether she becomes a frontline public figure with heavy formal duties or a private member, she is a living thread linking Windsor's past to a future that might look complete. Beyond ceremonies, Charlotte's image spreads in ways earlier generations never even... Short viral clips and photos can completely shape public opinion overnight. A private smile or a small act in a viral clip can quickly become shorthand for great... The 2013 Succession to the Crown Act ended male preference in the royal line of... Public debate about royal titles has been especially sharp. While some relatives received major honours, others did not, and dramatic headlines rushed. Charlotte will grow up amid those heavy debates, and her generation may inherit their at major public milestones like the Platinum Jubilee in 2022, or the observers quickly noticed how family behaviour often became the headline story. Looking forward, Charlotte might be drawn to charitable causes that mirror Diana's legendary. Either way, how she grows and what she chooses to champion will shape how the monarchy. Her quietest choices will undoubtedly echo widely. But what hidden private moments reveal how remembrance and family are Stay glued to your screen to find out exactly how remembrance and family, after the solemn ceremony, wreaths lay quietly against the cold memorial wall. White roses rested against the cool stone, with each ribbon carrying the name of a But was this gathering really about protocol, or was it about something far? It wasn't the formal speeches that moved the crowd, nor even the monarch's presence. What held everyone's hearts captive were simpler moments. A bowed head, a child's hand against cold stone, an elderly woman They were powerful glimpses of raw dignity spilling into public view. Sarah approached the wall with her 3 children, each holding on to part of their floral wreath. Yet it was little Tommy, far too young to understand war, but old enough to Stepping away from his siblings, he reached high to press his tiny fingers against his father's. Kate knelt down, her long gown brushing the grass, answering the boy with the absolute. She told the little boy that every kind act and every brave choice kept. Tommy nodded solemnly, turning back to the plaque. It proved that children often revealed. Nearby, the Patel family set down photos of their beloved daughter Meera. From a smiling schoolgirl to a proud uniformed medic, her parents shared her letters. This was their first public memorial since overwhelming grief had kept them in strict privacy. But while speaking with Kate, their heavy sorrow seemed to shift, softened by the simple. His written words described playing soccer with local kids, sharing meals with family. One photo showed him smiling brightly, completely surrounded by laughing Afghan kids. "He never did a single thing halfway," she whispered softly. Kate, that simple observation brought a rare smile to the grieving mother's face. Mrs. Henderson quickly exchanged phone numbers with Sarah Morrison, offering to help out with her. Out of shared grief, a new community was born. This was proof that even the king surprised many that day. Though expected to make a brief appearance, he lingered, clasping hands and listening far more. His presence felt incredibly steady and fatherly, offering a quiet assurance that Later on, she quietly reflected on everything she had learned. Like David Henderson's she thought of Meera Patel's dream of opening a clinic back home, and Tom Morrison's hope of these were fallen soldiers were not just faceless heroes. They were. Amid all this was the subtle, quiet presence of young Princess Charlotte. Earlier in the day, she had bowed her head, a small gesture that was incredibly heavy with deep. Only recently, she was seen packing crucial aid boxes during her very first solo. Seeing her in complete silence with her head bowed felt like a powerful glimpse into the. Could this young child already embody the deep compassion her generation is going to? Once royal children were kept hidden behind palace walls, raised under very strict protocol. But William and Kate are championing a totally different parenting model, raising children. Their modern openness feels less like cold royal detachment and more like real. It proves that those who made the ultimate sacrifice built a world where children can. Families lingered in the garden, some talking quietly, others wrapped in heavy silence. Kate politely stepped back to give them space, but she carried every single story. This emotional day was certainly not an ending, but rather a brand new beginning, a continuation of love, strength, and community. The simple bow of a young child's head, the touch of tiny fingers on cold carpet. These were beautiful legacies, far too powerful to ever fade. And perhaps the courage, compassion, and human connection shape the future monarchy as deeply. So what do you believe actually passed between Princess Charlotte's solemn bow? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below, and do not forget to like this video.